Just a word of advice before we begin today's true crime story. No one, absolutely no one who cheats is worth killing someone else over. It's just not. Just put down the weapons and back away. Remember what Maya Angelou said. When people tell you who they are, believe them. Just let that loser go. Alfreda Fluker was a 39-year-old Birmingham police detective back in 2020. She'd been a cop for 15 years by then. She worked with another detective on the same force, Mario Theodore White. They worked together on the department's crime reduction team. They were also romantically involved and, in fact, were common law spouses. On April 10th, 2020, Fluker would find out that she was involved in a love triangle, or so police described it at the time. Apparently, White was having an affair with someone else. Sometime around 11:50 p.m., Fluker learned about the affair, which had been going on for about a year, and used a phone tracking app to follow White to Germania Park. Fluker would say that earlier that night the couple argued because he was leaving the house late at night. She said he showered, took Viagra, and put on cologne. Well, those are some clues, aren't they? She would claim Fluker got physical with her during the argument and she followed him anyway. There at the park, she found White and the other woman sitting in White's unmarked police car. She would say she saw them having sex. White would say they were just sitting in the car talking, and prosecutors would agree with that. They were sitting in the car. Fluker loses her ever-loving mind at this point, not in a not criminally responsible way, but in a rage sort of way. She goes back to her vehicle, gets her police-issued handgun, and fired 15 rounds into White's car, emptying the gun. Her lawyers would call 15 rounds a heat of passion thing, which would knock murder down to manslaughter. They claimed she didn't intend to hit anybody. She didn't intend to kill anybody. 15 rounds, all into the car from her police-issued firearm. And she would claim she didn't know what was going on because she was so outraged that he would do her this way. She would also testify that before she got her gun, White hauled Bud out of the park. To be fair, much of her testimony just doesn't connect in any logical way. She would say she shot off 15 rounds because she wanted White to respect her and wanted him to know to stop playing with her. So which is it? Blindly firing and not knowing what is going on, or firing to teach White some sort of lesson in respect? She said that after that, she went to see if anyone was hurt, but White pushed her down and took away her pistol. The pistol was actually never recovered. As a side note, her city-issued computer, police radio, and her own electronics were never recovered either, so... White's story was that he and the other woman saw headlights approaching them in the park before 15 shots rang out. The passenger was hit in the arm, thigh, and head. Then White's story gets weird. He said he drove to the park's only access road and waited there. He waited for the shooter to catch up with the woman he was having an affair with, just laying there, dying. The woman he was with in that unmarked police car was Kenesha Nicole Fuller, who was 43. When police arrived, and by that we are not talking about fools Fluker and White, they found that Kenesha was suffering from multiple gunshot wounds, and she would die later at the hospital. White didn't call 911 following the shooting. In fact, police responded when another person called and said gunshots had been fired. Instead, Fluker would say, he began to drive away with his seriously injured Kenesha still in the car, then backed up to have another argument with Fluker. This man, a cop, didn't try to get her an ambulance, didn't try to get her to a hospital, didn't try to help her in any way. He backed up to have some kind of argument with Fluker. She would claim that during this argument, he was trying to pull up Kenesha's pants and telling her, no, she can't talk. She would also claim that she tried to help. She tried to tell White that Kenesha needed to go to a hospital. She claimed she asked Kenesha, baby girl, you okay? She claimed White was just worried about leaving Kenesha's vehicle in the park. None of the testimony of either Fluker or White, frankly, made much sense at all. And as you'll see, the jury wasn't buying it. The argument was witnessed by bystanders. Fluker fled the scene eventually. She never called any help for Kenesha. White would first tell responding police that several black males were behind the shooting before he clued in and told them it was Fluker. They already knew that, and they called in the State Bureau of Investigation, who arrested Fluker the following day. White was never charged, but he resigned from the force. Fluker's first trial in 2022 ended in a mistrial because of juror misconduct. Her second trial, though, conviction. After 2 life sentences without parole. She has 3 daughters who now effectively have lost their mother. White's LinkedIn account lists him as a law enforcement specialist with Miles PD since January 2022. Kenesha had a teen son and a family that loved her. She deserved better, 100%, from Fluker, but also from White. Thank you for listening. If you're enjoying these videos and want more, don't forget to subscribe and turn on your notifications so that you don't miss any videos. Thank you for watching. We really appreciate it.